Meeting is officially called to order. The roll call is that Dallas Lamb could not be present because of a work conflict. Is there a motion to approve the agenda? Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Alger?
Aye.
Mr. I?
Aye.
Mr. Serby?
Aye.
Ms. Roberson?
Aye.
Ms. Schick?
Aye.
The chair votes aye. I'm going to start with presentations. None? None? Okay, that's good to know. Unfinished business. Okay, item 6 is new business. We'll open the public hearing. Ordinance number 696 vacates and abandons a portion of the right-of-way known as an unnamed alley. It's in tab A of our books. A chance to take a look at that. Yeah, let me just do this real quick. The public hearing is officially open, and before we have comments from the public, we'll go ahead and let the planning and zoning administrator give a brief on this.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, there is a proposal from a citizen to purchase a portion of an alley. It's a 20-foot alley. It's off of Wakefield Street. It's about 200 feet southeast of Riverview Circle. The purchase price is $10,800. It's a portion of the alley. It's the back portion, and it is between lots 14 and lot 9, and also it's between lots 14 and 15 and lot 8 and 9 on the other side. And it's the portion, it's about 223 feet all the way to Ware Pond. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer it.
At this time, it's open for the public. No one signed up to speak about it, so I assume there's no contest to it at this time. So what we'll do is, if it's okay, does the council have any questions for the planning administrator? Okay, the public hearing is closed. Is there a motion to approve resolution 29-19? Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, discussion?
I still have questions from Rob. I don't know if we got completely answered as far as the water and sewer going down that alley. No.
Okay. Any other questions? No? Okay, it's up for a vote. Mr. Alger?
We have to abandon the property for some number going correct.
This is the
I'm
abandoned.
sorry, this is the one, yeah.
This is to vacate and abandon the right-of-way, and then the second one is
So
to
ordinance
purchase.
696 is out of proposition 28.
Yeah, ordinance 696, vacates and abandons a portion, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for catching that, too. So,
Aye.
okay, Mr. I,
Aye.
Mr. Serby,
Aye.
Ms. Roberson,
Aye.
Ms. Schick,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. That part's out. Now, public hearing is to resolution 29-19 that authorizes the sale of the same property we just discussed, and the public hearing is open for that. Any comments from council or complaining zoning on that? No? There's no one signed up for that either, so the public hearing is officially closed. At this time, resolution 29-19 authorizes the sale of all that certain tract of 4 parcel of land identified as portion of right-of-way known as the unnamed alley. 28-19. Yeah, I could be. No doubt about it.
You're rolling right along.
Long day. Long day. Been staring at a computer all day, sorry. Is there any discussion from the council on this?
I just had a question.
Yes.
It says proposed accessory structure. Is this all going to, is 9 and 14 going to be combined?
Yes, sir. 14, that's correct. What you see on your plat is actually the final result of what the applicant has in mind. He will combine 8 and 9. You don't see 8 on here, but 8 and 9 and 14 which you see on this plat. And he would like to then construct some accessory structures.
Any other discussion? Mr. Hudson?
Aye.
Mr. Wright?
Aye.
Mr. Serby?
Aye.
Ms. Rosen?
Aye.
Ms. Shea?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion passes. All good. You're all set. All right, next on the agenda is Resolution 29-19, which amends fiscal year 2018-19 budget general fund. I'd like to, Mr. Robinson, give a quick briefing on that.
Yes, sir. Ms. Gomez couldn't be here tonight. This is a basic budget adjustment to where we had a delinquent tax sale for the last 2 years come in. If you look at the resolution, it has the appropriate revenue line items for the proceeds as well as the expenditure. Moving into the FY19 contingency. I can field any questions council has.
Okay, so Resolution 29-19, is there a motion to approve? Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, council discussion? Mr. Allen?
Aye.
Mr. Ryan?
Aye.
Mr. Serby?
Aye.
Ms. Rosen?
Aye.
Ms. Shea?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion passes. That was just a whole lot. Resolution 30-19 adopts the 2020 capital improvement plan. This is 2019, so we're going to vote on this today, we're voting this on 19, right? Yeah. it was,
I don't think we have to hold a public hearing for this. Yeah, we can vote on it tonight.
Okay.
The planning commission does indeed have to hold a public hearing, but we looked up state code and the town council does not.
Okay.
Give a brief.
Okay. yeah, so
Overview.
we vote, yeah. Sorry.
So the planning commission, has a capital improvement plan that they've worked on and passed, back in February, I believe, of this year. At that time, we were a new council in many respects, and also, were prioritizing the, goals that we had, and so we sort of set the CIP on the back burner until we had goals prioritized so that we could align the capital improvement plan with indeed goals and objectives that they actually become accomplishable. And so this should go in front of the budget, and this coming cycle, we will do a better job of getting it in front of the budget, so I apologize because I am the culprit for why it's not in front of the budget this year. But I do think it is becoming a more, a document that is actually going to be more useful. And so that's the goal. And so the CIP that the Planning Commission had passed originally had an enormous number of projects on it, most of which we were not pursuing funding, didn't have funding for, didn't know anything about if it would ever be funded. And so the revisions that have been made from the Planning Commission time, now that we have our goals and objectives as a council, more clearly, I think, reflect what actually could get done. And so that's why it's taken this long. So the page 1 is a little bit about capital improvements, kind of what the criteria is. And just for people that don't know, it involves a $50,000 minimum, unless you're talking about technology. It has to deal with the future projected needs of the town and the needs for health, security, benefits to the community. It generally aligns with the comprehensive plan, the items that are listed in the comp plan, which is currently under review by the planning commission. Things that we expect to be completed that are capital projects are the water line replacement and metering, the pedestrian plaza, which we'll get an update on later, and the Troy Smith recreational courts up there. So those are things that are current capital projects that are being anticipated to have completion. The next part 2, like I said, coming from the planning commission, this had, I don't know, 20 projects on it, and it just wasn't gonna happen. So there are now 5. The ones that, we foresaw actually being able to pursue funding for are the ones that are on here, or they are absolutely mandated. We don't have a choice. So that's how it got pared down. The ones that are on here include the engineering study for public works, which Rob has requested because it is a mandatory item. The Robin Grove shoreline and park improvements, which is already happening with the dog park listed there, but there's also pursuing grant money to make that shoreline project. The streetscape improvements for Colonial Avenue, which DCB is a part of and working on, and we continue to try to find donations and grant for that. Stormwater management plan, which I know that Santa Maria Avenue is one very tiny aspect of it, but the flyovers, the data points, and putting together a management plan is on top of our priority list. And then improvements to public bike golf cart lanes across town stayed on the list because there is VDOT funding this fall for transportation type of improvements. So if we can get a hold of funding, it's keeping it at the top of the list here. TAP grant is
Transportation alternative program.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The school one that got published is from the old CIP. The school has since updated that, and Kathy has a copy of the new school list. So if you'd like to see the school list, that's coming from the school, and it is a little bit different, but it is from the presentation they gave in March, was that? So it aligns with the CIP request that they gave to town council in March. So if you want to update the list of that, get with Kathy. The things on it are Edmonds, athletic facility improvements, school bus replacement, HVAC replacement at the high school, and instructional resource improvement. And then part 4 is where all the other things go that we still need and are still capital improvements. It's sort of, instead of deleting things and going to the abyss and forgotten about forever, I left everything that had been in the original plan pretty much here, and just the things that we as a council had prioritized from our Martin Luther King Day meeting at the top. So these are things that we have talked about, that we know we want to try to pursue, that may not be on that very first active page list because we don't know where money's going to come from, we don't know how it's going to happen, but we have a lot of support for. And then the things underneath of it are other items that were mentioned in the comprehensive plan that maybe seem a little out of reach right now, but should stay on the radar. And so that's it in a nutshell. And if you have any other questions, please let me know, or ask the planning commission. Yes, and this is a living document. It will be edited, revised, many times.
There's a couple public works issues that have been brought up. I see on here, one of them is
not a capital improvement.
Well, I was just looking at that high school HVAC replacement, school bus replacement, and that library HVAC replacement supposedly. I didn't, I don't know why it's in some, not others.
That's a good point. I think,
When you look at the criteria, we're talking $100,000 on this generator, the compressor, is only so forth. So I'm not sure, how we're covering some of it.
the planning commission should have a separate list of equipment replacement items per department. And I think you're absolutely right, the school HVAC system should not be on this, it should be on an equipment replacement.
Yeah, and I'm saying with the buses, we've got to start creating that equipment schedule for all the equipment public
Right.
works, because none of their stuff is.
Right, I agree with you, the criteria for those items is more of a replacement schedule than it is a capital improvement.
All the municipal buildings have to have a replacement schedule for all the, to be counted. Okay. So before we can pass this, we need to amend this resolution, because this resolution says June 19, 2019. So we can get an amendment first. Is that correct, Jim? Yes. So if we can get an amendment first, that'd be great. So, the amendment should read, be resolved at the town council meeting regular session regular work session Wednesday, June 5th, 2019, hereby adopts capital improvement plan. As attached. So moved. For a second.
Second.
Mr. Hunter.
Aye.
Mr. Ryan.
Aye.
Mr. Server. Ms. Rhodes. Ms. Schaefer. Chair votes aye. Amendment passes. Okay, so now we're going to do it as amended. It must be resolved at the town council meeting regular session. Adopts resolution 30-19. Capital improvement plans on June 5th, 2019. For a second on that. A motion. For a second. Mr. Hunter.
Are we gonna take out what he's within this motion, the second vote on this? Or are we gonna move into now?
I think that's probably something we can do.
Amendment, you do an amendment.
Yeah, the plan, Maureen's sitting right there, so when, it will go now into its next year cycle of revision. And so the planning commission can make those amendments in its next cycle.
Yes, and we are starting the next capital improvement plan in June. So we will have it
Just
finished
time.
by September.
Okay, so, we can,
Yeah, let's
take that one too.
Okay,
Or do we need for now, leave them?
yeah, I'm fine either way, but yeah.
Okay, so we know what we're doing there? Mr. Allen?
Aye.
Mr. Ryan?
Aye.
Mr. Service?
Aye.
Mr. Rhodes?
Aye.
Ms. Schaefer?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Very good. All right, so we're off and running with the capital board. This is a first read as well. Resolution 31-19 would approve the execution of the lease to construct and maintain a pier.
Mr. Mayor and council, this is before you for two reasons. One is that I was unclear whether you wanted to see again, not have a public hearing for, but whether you wanted to see again the leases that had been signed by the applicants. This was signed by Connie Rollins. It is the lease that you did approve. There have been no changes to it. So if council would give staff direction as to whether you would like to see every lease back before you, or whether it's okay for us to administratively move forward with the ones that have not been changed, where there's no changes to what you've approved for the lease agreement. The second reason this is before you is that this is a unique case where the pier that is being built, you see the plat that has been prepared as required, as understood by council, and the area where the pier connects to the water, is the area to be leased. But this pier extends in front of Solgrave Street, within our extension lines, within the town's extension lines. So I just wanted to make sure that council understood that that was the case, and to receive an approval for that. Thank you. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
The only question I have is, I went down and looked at it, but it doesn't appear that it would affect any other homeowners if they intended to build a pier.
We would, lot one,
Yeah.
H1.
I mean, they would have to come, I know that we had a situation a little further down the street, where a homeowner who had riparian rights wanted to build them, and, we let them do it because they have riparian rights, but it got really close to one that we had allowed previously a long, long time ago. And so,
And in this
my
case,
thoughts were, if a homeowner had riparian rights, they have first dibs on being able to do it versus us allowing somebody to lease our property to build where they couldn't build their own riparian rights.
thank you.
I think what's important here is that we make it understood that this is not the norm, because the only reason we are able to let this go outside of property lines is because of Salisbury Street. So what we're basically doing is we're giving her the rights to go, the riparian rights within her extensions out in the water, but also Salisbury Street. Now, if Salisbury Street was somebody else's house, this would not be allowed.
Actually, VMRC says that that is under their purview, that we only look at, well, actually,
Well, what
Our attorney.
VMRT says is they send back a thing just literally backing off of any responsibility for approving a pier and riparian rights.
that's correct.
So we do have to, somebody's got to police the riparian right issue, or it's going to come back on us because we let them build a pier. Now, I agree that what we do is, because we're leasing the land, the hard land in mean low water, but when we previously had an ordinance, it clearly made us stay within the property line extension so that we were within the riparian rights extension. Now, granted, that's run by the MRC, and like I said, this case here, I think is okay because it's our riparian rights again on Salisbury Street, and to answer your question, no, it would not be interrupting somebody else's property. But again, I would hate to see this brought up and rubbed in our face in the future saying, well, you let this person do it. These are unusual circumstances.
Right.
And I think we need to make sure that that's clear.
It also may make a difference how long the pier is.
That's correct, as to whether it costs or not.
That's what we had that previously, and that's what I was talking about earlier. That came up a couple of years ago, and when it was brought to my attention at the time, I said, that homeowner has the right to build that pier. The homeowners around them are using our property if they want to build, so.
Well, I think what I'm hearing is that you want to see these, even though you've approved for.
I think if we're within the property lines, what I'm saying is that I don't want this to be looked at as a norm, that somebody come back and everybody goes out and just forgets about property line extensions. There's a riparian rights issue on the next code down where somebody literally had to remove and switch their boat lift and stuff to the other side of the dock. And it was permitted. And VMRC approved it. But they disclosed any liability for riparian rights. And the neighbor filed a complaint, and the other person had to move their lift and stuff years after it was pulled.
So you don't think number 4, bullet point 4 in the lease agreement? I mean, I'm not sure that we indeed are the police on riparian rights, and that our responsibility here is the property in which we are indeed leasing, which is the connection of the pier to the physical land. And after that point, I don't think we have either, we should have the responsibility of ensuring that they're following riparian rights.
And maybe we ought to put a disclaimer on it when we approve it, that it's riparian rights time, so it's not our liability.
That's what VMRC does, as you
Yeah, well,
pointed out.
exactly. So we ought to do the same thing.
I agree with that.
And
And
the other thing, I think Used to be, we required each person on either side to, each adjustment butter had to provide a
See
approval.
that?
But it says the leasing shall conform to all provisions of the town zoning ordinance and other applicable laws and regulations, including BMRC, VDOT. I mean, that to me says riparian rights also is included in that. You guys have to follow the rules. We are just leasing the property that we can control. We can't control it after that.
So we're telling them they gotta follow the rules, and if we know something's wrong, we're not supposed to raise it.
Well, I wouldn't know that a council would necessarily have the education or information to know whether it was wrong or not. I certainly wouldn't want it to be my responsibility to know whether or not it was wrong.
I'm comfortable with planning and zoning or administrative people handling it from the pure standpoint, just like you did this time, where you saw something that looked a little bit different than normal, and you brought it to our attention. I think that's fine. I don't know that we need to do a meeting. I think unless we feel like we do, I think you could probably contact us, have us come in and take a look at it, and then decide, we could decide if it would be something that we had to sit the council meeting and discuss.
So to be clear, unless there appears to be some issue, particularly with riparian rights or otherwise, a lease can be approved and executed by the town manager without further council review if there is no changes to the lease that you've already.
I think so. I think that's their job.
Let me ask you another question on this particular lease. Unfortunately, this pier is going in a place that has a lot of problems. The bank's got another big settlement crack in it now, that we put cones up a few weeks ago on, it's ready to fall into the river. And where is, on this, we're requiring the shoreline protection, correct?
It says for paragraph 4, depending on the shoreline of leased property, additional shoreline protection may be required to be installed on the property by the town and maintained during the term of lease.
Now, you know that anytime we do a shoreline protection, it's got to go before the wetlands board and all that. We're approving a pier right now, and we're making someone sign a lease that says they'll take care of the shoreline issue, and yet we haven't addressed it yet. We haven't approved it. They won't approve it all. Basically, that's a VDOT problem over there. I mean, I think the VDOT should have fixed that more. Ms. Parker's for the pier.
So if we believe that there's a problem, it probably needs to be addressed before, because the requirements are supposed to be itemized in the deed.
Well, I mean, it's a problem. You saying that it's caving in.
Will we be able to get some information on this before June 19th, or come to a vote?
I mean, I've raised it a couple times.
Can we,
Had the discussion with Jeff Howard yesterday about the particular instance as far as our design, and then we'll have to discuss how we do the whole area.
The whole thing,
The whole
between
area.
my dock and past two.
I would presume to say that once we have such a design in place and put in for a permit, I believe that portions of money can be
I guess I agree with all that, but my point is this, is that we're requiring this lease or by the lease to take care of shoreline protection. So we're asking to look at it.
Actually, if you
How's that
look
work?
at number 4, what the attorney just read, you could read this 2 ways. That last sentence, to be installed on the property, it says additional shoreline protection may be required to be installed on the property by the town and maintained during the term of the lease. That could be read as installed by the town, or the town requires it to be installed by the applicant. So what is the understanding? I'd like to know what the town council would like us to.
We're leasing that piece of property. So the lessee is going to have to install the shoreline protection as the town requires.
Well, I think the leasee needs to be aware of,
Yeah.
especially this condition, there's probably a 5 or 6 foot chunk that's ready to fall off again. That's what I saw, with the cracks in the ground. Right now, you couldn't, if you brought your pier up and tied it into that, it's eventually going to disappear. You know, that's a condition that the town has let create itself for a long time, that erosion in that bank. And when you look at it from the top, you can't tell. You got to go down on the beach and look, because it goes almost up on the road. And I guess I don't know how fair it is to approve this and sign a lease, and then the county have to be stuck with all this bank protection and stuff, which only, what are we doing, 4 or 5 feet, 7 feet on each side of the dock? I mean, we got, what, 150 feet over there?
I think probably, given the circumstances, we should hold on this until we determine what the shoreline protection is required and whether the lessee is willing to do that.
Well, maybe that percentage of, or at the time that it is decided,
Yeah, this is like a cooperation agreement to me.
cooperative
Well,
agreement.
that's what I was,
between the
if we're gonna
homeowner
do it,
and
I don't think the
town.
homeowner, in my opinion, I don't think the homeowner can be made to deal with this, because it's a bigger issue than just the leased landing that she's asked for. But I think we should probably note something on her lease says that, you know, we may have to lift or remove a portion in order to do the final stabilization there, because it's gonna be a chore. I mean, it's-
But this doesn't require, it just says, depending on the shoreline of the leased property, additional shoreline protection may be required and installed by us. So we can fix the problem, and then if we need additional requirements after that point, or in order to maintain it, then that's, we can negotiate that. It seems to me that leaves it, still allows us to do what we.
I know it allows us, I just don't think it's fair that the owner doesn't know her potential for total liability
So that's
up
the reason,
front. That's
the
my
reason,
concern.
that's the reason for Exhibit B, whether Adam is supposed to be listed on there.
I mean, that's my only.
Right,
I
so
think that-
exhibit B would add in specifics of
Whatever we
that.
agree on.
So we should not sign it until we have exhibit B.
And what are we gonna do to fill that gap?
But I think we need to find out what is going to be required for shoreline protection and whether the lessee is figure out who's going to pay for it, who's going to pay.
This is something that's fairly new in the works. It has not gone through the planning commission that I'm aware of at this time. It is rather significant when you realize how much property we have on that side of the road.
If it is a VDOT issue, VDOT maintenance issue that we control, is there something we can do different because of that? It's not like Robin Grove, this is an actual road.
Right. And, you know, and yes, we can probably get permitting to put riprap. It may end up being riprap, very well could be. As far as extending back into further and try and recapture any property, I'm not, I hate to say at this point that it would be easily approved.
I guess my point is, you know,
Certainly
Connie's been
yes.
trying to get it peer approved and get it built this season for quite a while, and we keep finding things that, you know, that we don't really know. We don't have an ordinance anymore. We don't, you know, we don't have an answer as to what to do about erosion control, although we do make it a part of the lease. I think in most cases, it's not going to be a problem, but in that stretch of Monroe Bay Avenue between Boathouse Marina and Bill Nelson's is a bad spot where we do have major issues. Some of the people there, under their shoreline maintenance agreements that they had, you know, with convenience and stuff like that, have riprap theirs and everything else, but this, yeah, and you know, like I said, I mean, it's one thing to put a pier in, it's another thing to have to riprap the bank, and up to this degree, and again, I just do, I would hate to see us go back to Connie and say, now you're responsible to do this. I don't think that's
Some
fair.
pier owners have though spent an enormous amount of effort, to maintain the shoreline. So, you know, I don't see any reason to hold up the lease process administratively, though. If Exhibit B can happen, and there's an agreement with the leasee, and they are in agreement with it,
We'll put in Exhibit B what we agree
now,
on.
I don't want to debate all the specifics of every single pier at every council meeting.
I agree with you. Unfortunately, it seems like the first one we get's got a bunch of the oddballs with it. We're crossing the riparian rights. We got a major erosion problem on a road that's been there for a long time. And now, so these conditions existed, and this is the anomaly.
But it is, hopefully the rest of them.
Yeah, but my point is that
Can we?
it's still a liability.
We need engineering study on that, I mean, I hate to think that we need, I mean, you know it needs to be done, I mean.
But if we're just doing one little section, you know, you can do some, we could get that taken care of. At least, some river
Yeah.
out there. It would have to come out of operating.
Yeah.
You know, but if there's a legitimate expense. As far as large, you know, when it gets bigger, when the scope gets bigger, we should definitely have a design.
I mean, the problem is we don't put that, it's not your town's fault that it's eroded. And we're trying to fix that, but a couple of things, obviously, due to no leaks in it, which is hopefully mitigate some of that. It's a dual problem, it's weather, it's.
No doubt that it's our road. And
It's our road.
if Connie wasn't built, right now, are we gonna expect her to do the full,
It's our road, but VDOT has some responsibility
what
to
we
us
was
as well, I mean, that's what I mean. So maybe we, I mean, it's a weird case.
Yeah, I don't think that the lessee would want to build a dock, as
It's
Survey
okay,
says,
we have
it's
to-
not
we
going
have
to
to
be
add on
connected to the
it
source.
10 days later,
To the-
yeah.
well, I mean, if you go out and look at the condition, that's where we're kinda at right now, it's teeter tottering,
So
to the
I
point that
think,
we put cones down.
I think we do cooperative, we do some
But-
cooperative.
Okay. So can we
Fill
have
it in
something
to-
by June 19th? Exhibit B that would say, you know, in conjunction with, or something like that, can you give us some kind of idea, we're gonna need 20,000 pounds of riprap, or we're gonna need 8,000 pounds, whatever?
And in this case, do we do the entire width of the leased property
Is it council's preference for the town to pay for this, or for the?
I mean, we gotta know something, if the town's paying for it, we gotta,
I think first and foremost, we need to get information from people. As I hear it,
Yeah, I think-
explained here, and that's.
well, I will say this, I brought this up probably, I don't know, half a dozen times in the last 2 years about erosion in this specific spot numerous times, and nobody's done anything, and now we got a lady who wants to build here, and now we're finally talking about something that we've known about for ages. And I don't think it's fair to Connie for us to be delaying it. And,
There's not just what I'm saying, not to the.
but we have a, just one, not acting on the risk.
If we're going to design larger areas, this has to be put on VDOT's plate as one of our priorities. If we're going to design a large area, if we're going to do a small area, it's really not going to affect it at all.
And I don't know, by the lease, I remember when we were talking about the lease, it was supposedly gonna be the leasee's responsibility to maintain erosion control.
This is an issue that you have brought up there. This was not an issue
So I
that was
talked to
brought up.
Allison about this, she and I spoke about this the other day.
Well, in her presentation tonight too, of what to discuss, this was not a part of it. So it sounds to me like if the sewer line needs attention, and there needs to be an exhibit B, which gets more specific about that, there needs to be a sit-down meeting with Rob and Connie, and they can work through that. We don't need to sit up here for 30 minutes and discuss her potential problems for properties none of us have seen nor have information on.
I agree with that part, however, I would like to say this, Robin, we sit up here with our heads in the sand and let all these problems just float past us, and then we expect the townspeople to absorb the hit. This is something that's been here a long time, we've been talking about piers for 5 years, and we still don't have answers and can't give proper directions to the townspeople.
I
That to
don't
me is
know who the
frustrating at
police
this
are.
point, so we can move on now.
I gather that it's, we can administratively address this and then come back to a conclusion, but for future, and this is honestly, I scratched my head, this being the first one, as Mr. Serby pointed out, of course, it had to be unorthodox, non-standard, and show many flaws in the intent of what council and the citizenry want. But it also allows us to receive the guidance that I think I've received, just to be clear. to Mr. Cornwell's point, that we at the administrative level will handle the unorthodox, non-standard, presented via public digitally via email, not bring it to council unless there's conflicting council member. We should do that, and then we'll bring those into the surface upon council's design.
That's perfect, that
Thank you.
works. As far as this particular situation, if we can get something, some more information, even if it's not final, it was before June 19th, so we can discuss this further at length if we need to, and we'll hopefully vote on this.
And given that we're relying upon VDOT, sir, I would almost hesitant to think 19th is a realistic
So
day.
we could, if need be, at some point in time, we could approve it, based on.
Approve the lease pending exhibit B.
Correct, something like that. So as long as the homeowner
Do we have to
and the
vote?
town agrees.
Yeah, I didn't, we don't have to vote on that.
That was the question, I don't believe that is the issue.
Okay.
You don't have to, you can. By approving the standard lease, when
Right.
the lease is approved, unless conditional lease changes, you'll come back to you, or the riparian rights that you.
I'll send them out by email, and then if there's any concerns, we'll bring them to a meeting.
Okay, and then, Rob and Quinn, you will keep us informed on VDOT's
Yes, sir.
decisions on this as well as, public works.
Thank you.
That's my question, is it the more width of the,
Yeah, specifically.
for when people lease the property, what do we require? If it was already there and we were making them maintain something, would it be 5 feet on each side of here or the whole width of the property? That's the question.
Okay, the next one on the agenda is the draft ordinance number 697, which amends Town Code, Chapter 21, Article 6, Section 21-71, water user charges. And that public hearing will be held on, also on June 19th. It's in tab F of the books. Mr. Robinson, you want to give an overview of this?
Yes, this is the documentation supporting the previous brief that we had regarding the water and sewer rates. Two separate ordinances, but for a common sense approach, probably can discuss together. If you notice, it's the increase that we previously presented. I'm going to go back with Rob and Ms. Gomez, just to make sure our numbers are right. But this is the format. Our town attorney as well as the town clerk has looked at it. Really pending any questions that council has.
Has council had a chance to read over these numbers?
I still have some questions, I know Vicky does too.
Well, I'm trying to figure out some of them here. Okay, first of all, 697 refers to this year, correct? 698 refers to when we make the increases, correct? Right, I take that back. 697 is residential, on water, and 698 is sewer, right, okay. Then we go to the ordinances, and they basically state the same thing underneath. And then we get into the whole section on residential services, commercial services, and things like that. Which I'm a little foggy on why they are the way they are, especially since we didn't have anything to go by as far as commercial before. Residents, I got.
This is basically, and town clerk, please chime in when needed. We've had this ordinance in place that involves our water and sewer rates. All we're really trying to do with this is to change the number to accurately reflect what we're budgeting in fiscal year 20.
In the supporting calculations that was given to us by Gladys for water and sewer, it had the baseline rate increase in both commercial and residential. And you look at the first page, she proposed it be 420 for commercial, for residential, for nonprofit. And then the percentage discount for senior is the same. And the additional commercial, because the commercial has a baseline and then there's these additional metering charges, there was no rate change to the additional thing. So this, just to be clear, right now, this is just on the residential users that this public hearing would affect.
That's, I was actually with Mr. Murphy prior to this meeting, and we think that Ms. Gomez did not get the rate increase to the commercial. If you look at the previous, I think what you're looking at here, it would go up to $800 without fine print on the commercial for the year. So the ordinance changed it, and I want to go back and confirm with Ms. Gomez.
Wait, for the
Commercial.
sewer or for the water?
That's sewer.
Yeah. I have the
Water.
800, and that would be the new rate for
Correct.
commercial and residential.
Correct,
Right.
correct.
So we do need also to advertise for the commercial rate increase.
I believe that's
Yeah.
true, but we have not chance to speak with Ms. Gomez to be sure that
Right.
was what she had in her.
Yes, the commercial certainly should be.
It's not, right.
Okay.
Okay.
So, all right, thank you. This is going to be a
One of the questions I had about this was, where is section 21-77? I don't see it referenced. And I was looking through here trying to find it.
In the Virginia code.
Right.
I have to go online and find it. The other thing that, before we have this public hearing in 2 weeks on this, is that I'm still not completely sure I understand why. I know there's this 20% contingency fund, and Steve, you explained it to me before. I just want to repeat it back, just in case I have misunderstood it. There is required by some entity, and I'm not clear on which entity, a 20% reserve fund. And we had previously been using our town reserve fund to qualify for that reserve. But it's been since clarified that we need a 20% reserve fund that is indeed a separate fund that is specifically water and sewer, funded by water and sewer, and maintained by water and sewer, completely separate, and we cannot use the town reserve fund. Okay, so that's right.
Can't be mixed.
It can't be mixed up, and we've been kind of like, now who's requiring that? Is that a,
Under the state code of Virginia, as a municipality, there's a section that delineates all the requirements if the town owns its own municipal water and sewer system. And it's through those portions of the Virginia code that these requirements. It tells us how, all the stuff we have to include in calculating the fitting dollars.
can we get a copy of that, or at least that somehow?
Part of it's also because we got a low interest rate loan for this, and we're required to keep a certain amount of money on hand to repair infrastructure as needed, because that's how you get in trouble. That's why we're where we are today, with these $1 million water pipes that are going in the ground. So what they hope is that you'll have this 20% buffer, so that 5 years from now, when you need to start replacing an older piece, you have the money to do it. You don't have to go back and borrow these large sums of money all the time.
It makes sense to me that it's a loan requirement,
Yes,
but I
think it is.
wasn't sure that it was actually a state requirement.
So I agree with the loan requirement.
Yeah, I think it's a loan requirement, but I'd like, if it is a state requirement, I'd like to see that verbiage.
It's a loan requirement. It was part of it. You know, you gotta remember, we were on probation as well, so we have to, that's why we have workers for one reason. And if they were gonna, that was part of the loan process, was in order to get these loans, straight loans, we had to do metering of all the water, and we had to keep this 20% buffer. And the consulting firm that we're working with, Annapolis, which we're working with Annapolis, this is the norm for them. They tell us how to get there. They show us the roadmap to get there.
Did these numbers
They set the
come
numbers.
from that consulting firm?
This initial number that you have right now, I don't think you know, that came just based on what the pure cost is gonna be to continue to run it. This, it could change when they meet with, and we talked about this at meetings.
Right.
And not form that reserve.
Yeah, exactly.
And not
So, that's right. That reserve has to continue to build. Has to continue to build. Now, you can get to a point though, where you can actually lower the cost if you have to, because you have enough in reserve, and you realize that you didn't need to spend that, or you didn't even charge that much. But this, to start this off based on the cost of the loan, these are the numbers that were needed to facilitate the cost of that.
Is there any way we can get all of that explained in an article in the paper before the public hearing, so that there, can we have a public statement that explains why this is required, why is it to our advantage of the loan? Something that from the town side, because I was still confused as to why this was required, and,
We have water and sewer bills going up very shortly now.
Going out.
Yeah.
I think today,
Yeah.
I think they went out today.
That would have been the perfect time to put an explanation inside. Because if and I am not a math person, anybody who knows me knows I am not a math person. But, if my calculations came out correctly, this isn't even an additional $25 a month. No, thank you. I know you are a math person.
It takes it to 305 a quarter.
Right, it's like $23 and 30-some cents extra. Yeah.
It takes it from 235 for residential to 305. And
If
actually, it
people,
could lower the commercial in the long run.
if people understood, I know we only play quarterly, but if everyone understood that it was just a cat over $23 more a month,
Well,
after
that-
not being raised for 5 years,
That should be in the public statement, Vicki, that
I
you
just
should
made
help
it.
write.
So we're good on the
just
summer.
get that down right, Kathy, so that,
So we're good on
A
the
lot of
summer.
people think that is just the water rate, and they see
No,
that they
I
think
know.
it's just water, and that's what, and we know, yeah, we know that, but that's something like Rob was saying, with that statement, that this is not just your water bill, it's your water and your sewer.
I've always thought it's water, sewer, and trash.
no.
But a lot of people,
I just like to feel like I'm paying for more things.
Probably the most important thing to remember is that water and sewer are a completely separate entity of all things town, as far as money goes.
Yeah, they have
That
to.
money stays in that water sewer, it can't be used for anything else. We can't take money out of reserves, we can't take money, that we say we hit the golden goose with the water and sewer, we can't use that to go back into other town stuff. It has to stay within the water and sewer.
So the rate increase is $22.33 a month.
And that's,
The fact that even the water and sewer is a totally separate fund and why they have to stay separate, and that is definitely a state mandate. I mean, that should be in the public, I don't know, statement, right? Like, that needs to be at the top.
I don't know how many we have, but in some jurisdictions, some people only use water, they don't use sewer.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have a sprinkler system, there's certain parameters.
If you're on a well,
You have sewer and no water.
yes, sewer is water.
There are a few of those.
Yes,
Yeah.
there's there's sewer and water too.
And
Oh, okay.
counties.
That's why they do it. If you look recently in the newspaper, King George has been going through a lot of issues with this whole thing. I think we're blessed to be actually, frankly.
Well, apparently Flats of Bay is higher too.
They're under private utility.
Right, they are. We have land over, so.
Well, it's still cheaper than my internet bill, but I just, it's true,
Very true.
it's true.
Well,
I do agree with Robin though.
no, they do
I
not.
think the formidable message to the public via the website as well as the mailing, and even if it goes out in the next daily or word belt, we don't have any huge exposure tax bills.
But we could put a statement in the paper
Yeah,
and then
please do.
I can share it on Facebook. And I know that sounds silly, but really, like,
Do a
Once
change in
it's-
order rates.
once a public statement that happens, it can get dispersed a lot easier. And ahead of the public hearing, because I want people to come to the public hearing, I want them to talk, but I want them to have an opportunity
One, two.
to hear all of that we just said before they get up and are upset about it.
You know, I appreciate the fact that everybody wants to make sure the public understands their financial liability on the water and sewer increase. Basically, that was my same reasoning for trying to get some kind of an answer for the people who want to build piers. It seems to matter on water and sewer issues, but the pier issue, because I brought it up, no one wants to talk about it.
No, with all,
It's the same thing. It's to talk about the financial liability that we're imposing on the residents of this town, and making sure they know it up front. So I would just like to say that I would be a heck of a lot more concerned about $50,000 worth of riprap than $25 a month in a water bill. And I think that the public has a right to know that. If they want to build a pier, they need to know what the liability is, and we don't really care about that. Thank you.
Yeah.
So we're going to be advertising public hearing?
I think we just need to advertise a separate public hearing for the commercial rate. Is that,
That's all we have to do with the residential ones.
the residential we'll move forward with, and then,
We will probably,
Yeah, another advertising.
that probably requires that you advertise.
So,
20 days in between.
Don't worry, Randy, it's okay. Don't worry. We have to do it.
but I don't, I'm saying that we do the residential on the 19th with the, we just did, and then the commercial
The
next month.
advertising, the advertising effect is back.
Right, so we'll
It
do
does not-
commercial in July.
It does not have the commercial increase, so we'll have to do that.
Can we
Okay,
can we
that's
do
fine. I
the
just
second
wanted
for the resident,
clarification.
second for the commercial? These two different.
That makes sense to me. Yep.
That way, better,
It's fine.
rather than waste what we've already done.
It's fine. Do we need to go number 698? I think we just did that, didn't we? We're not gonna include that. All right. Status items. Rob, you want to bring us up to date on the plaza?
Well, Plaza, I talked to Anna Capitan today. It is still under final review, for authorization to advertise by the feds. I asked her if she foresaw any difficulties and if we needed to do any additional edits that she's aware of. And she said no. She was going to call and touch base with the federal entity and get back with me hopefully tomorrow and give me an update as far as what's there. As far as an ETA, she's holding off on that. We're hoping for just ASAP. I'm not going to edit the advertisement dates until such time as I receive authorization from the FES.
Okay, so the whole thing where we had to break ground by a certain day, that we got the extension on that.
We don't have anything formal, we've got a verbal from our buddy Jerry Davis.
What about
There.
What about Miss Pearman? Can we talk to her?
No, but Jerry Davis has been the go-between the bottom.
We have nothing
And-
formal at all.
That was by her.
And
Is that right?
right now, if we haven't even advertised, we're never gonna have it by the end of June.
Strictly because of Jerry Davis.
Oh, good.
Well,
And
Okay,
hopefully
well,
that's-
I think,
we're on a wing, we're,
No.
yeah, I think this is,
Now, there was some communication a week ago between the Davis and myself and relating to the DBE goals and that they needed to know the DBE goals, which were just issued up.
I have one question
And so there is, that's coming from the EOC.
Have, one of the things that when we had met and talked to her on the phone was what can I as a council member, what can we as a town side be doing while it's in this VDOT approval process in the midst of VDOT and we can't do anything. And preparing for the ad was basically the only thing we could be doing at this point. So have we identified qualified types of contractors that as soon as this thing gets approved, we can, you know,
It's a VDOT approved list, it's correct.
Okay.
It's predetermined.
So we use a VDOT approved list. Have we kind of let them know it's on their radar, like, hey, we're ready?
VDOT, and I don't know if Anna has reached out to the ones there. I can certainly ask that question.
Well, VDOT's
Anna
not
have to be
running
the
it.
one to reach?
No, but they were going to,
I mean, we've had this conversation before, trying to make sure we get funding.
Yeah, I guess I'm just trying to stay ahead of it if we can, considering there's, like, we're sitting here twiddling our thumbs waiting for it. Okay, great. Is there anything I can do, or anything council can do?
I guess the only thing that I know that you can do is refer. If you travel around, they'll know that it's coming open. And any contractors that you know, or VDOT qualified.
And you still don't want me to make cookies for VDOT?
They've already approved it, their approval's done, it's just a federal agency issue right now, VDOT's approved
That's
it.
right.
And the issue now, really our issue now is making sure that we get the extension from Jerry Davis.
Yeah.
That's because we don't have anything in writing, we don't have any firm commitment or anything. And if for some reason at the 9th hour, we can't get that, then flush the toilet.
So we basically a lifetime to keep this moving. And we've got quite an investor.
Yeah, right.
He, last time I talked to Jerry, he seemed optimistic, oddly.
He was,
Okay.
and he still is. He was actually surprised that we had gotten this far.
Good.
Okay. How about real estate growth?
The RFP, I've been able to get with Ms. Schickon, and I've got a copy of a template that I'm going to use, but it almost goes coincide, and this is what I didn't know, it almost coincides with a separate thing that we're working for properties, which I think, Michelle, I don't know if you want to talk about your trip to Stanton or not, but I think it's probably the best piece of the update. So I'm not
We're
sure.
gonna run separate.
Yeah.
Correct, separate, but,
Yeah.
right, but not trying to tie them together, but they do probably need to be choreographed in lines to make sure that what I do in the RFP doesn't trip over what was known out of the Stanton meeting that they shouldn't. So,
Yeah, I think, I gave examples of, RFP, how the, RFP for broker to when, 2 examples of municipalities that had multiple properties to look at, that were looking to assess them, and looking for somebody to advise, deliver contracts, basically be a professional, that represented the town. And, we picked one of them, and it just needs to be edited that instead of the, you know, city of blah, 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 it says town of Beach, and then issue. So hopefully that should be soon.
What I'm hearing though is that you don't want to issue just the straight RFP without making sure that it matches up with any potential requirements of the small development.
indoor conflicts, my
I mean,
concern,
I don't think that that's an issue.
okay. So if
I
it's
mean,
not an
it
issue, I
can't
can
be.
simply move
Not
forward.
really.
You can't,
So for
because we're
example,
either selling it traditionally or somebody's coming to us separately with a proposal under the small developer.
A little different than that, then, maybe.
Because we can't tie the property up. That was our intent, is to not tie the property down to one or the other, but make both options available if somebody brought them to the table.
So the RFP for an agent is not for a listing agent for a particular
It's a
parcel.
seller's agent.
It's a, Yeah, it's just a representation, like we contract Mr. Cornwell to be a lawyer. We would
I know what it is. My point is that it has nothing to do with the small development.
I can have that.
And that's what you were saying you were concerned about, whether it interfered with that. Well, it can't, it doesn't matter. They're not tied together.
That can be prepared next week for the final vote, not in the council meeting, just trying to get this announced out here.
And give us a heads up so that, again, we can kind of let people know it's coming out. The other thing is the meeting in Stanton, all-day conference was excellent. There were a lot of contacts made there. Apparently, the city of Danville is setting the precedent on this process and has done it successfully several times. So I'm
The
in
small development.
Mhm.
So we're not-
And specifically in working with, having a relationship between the municipality that's selling the property and the developer, so that we're attracting what we want. They're getting me files, basically examples, again, so we don't have to reinvent the wheel of what's worked for them. And Jim Bell went, Jim, from DCD, went to the conference also from Blue Ridge, and we sat together, and so we are going to catch up when he gets back from vacation this week. And so we'll draft up basically an example one, and then send it to you guys to review and go from there. I did want to tap out, this is right now my understanding of properties that were in that resolution. Now, we did the resolution on the April 17th for the properties in the top of this list, but we did not include Wilder Avenue parking lot or any of the parcels in it in that public hearing. I thought that there was intention to include those, so I wanted to know if we were going to hold a second public hearing for the remainder of those other lots, as an opportunity to think about them, or if they were not going to be held in public hearing.
The meeting is intended to.
That's what I
On
thought.
a list, and if we want, we need to do another.
Easy enough to do.
Yep.
Okay. So it's not, you got away from the all in common, see what comes out.
What, you mean?
There's several, all each property, all town.
Well, we had to list them by,
Sure.
Just going back to what we did,
yeah,
and there's few meetings, 4 months ago.
yeah. And these were the ones that were specifically listed on the public hearing, but I thought there was intent to also list these other ones. Okay.
Okay, so we'll do that both.
Yeah, that's fine. I just want to make sure if that was true, then let's get it on the
When you want to do it?
docket.
So that's how it once, every 7 days.
You think you can do it with the, I mean, you have the parcel numbers. So.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sounds good to me.
Add it to the 19th. Anything else on this? Town council priority list and grant opportunities. Let's keep them there.
I think the CIP was the important part of that one.
All right.
Mr. Mayor, may I add one thing to your status item? I handed to you a plat which I received today concerning the Vaughn and the so-called drainage easements. Mr. Vaughn and Mr. Silky have not seen this yet, and if they're here, I plan to give them a copy. I didn't want to stretch this out because it has been stretched out for a long time. What I would report to do is prepare a deed to the town for these easements. The deed will need to be accepted by someone on behalf of the town. I can get the deed prepared, circulated back to town for them to sign it first of the week. The council would have to authorize someone to accept the deed on behalf of town. It was my intention to convey to the town the easement that's shown here, the 10-foot drainage easement, as well as the 5-foot temporary construction easement. The town, of course, would reseed the property in such a manner as to prevent erosion and sediment control. And thereafter, the area would be, have to be maintained with the property owners, just as they maintain the rest of the
Okay, two questions. One is, since it has nothing to do with the name, it's strictly the property location, right?
Why?
Because the circle's no longer on the property.
So, see, this is what I got today.
I know, I'm sure they haven't updated.
So it'll have to be updated to us.
Okay, so it does have to have their name on it. I think it's Cook, is that correct?
Okay, but I can hand Mr. Vaughn this if he can help me.
Okay, part two.
You got it?
Part two, as far as the council, my preference would be just let the town manager.
And that's fine, I would need council vote on that.
I don't know, if it's subdivision, thing is fast, it's been signed by the town manager.
It's not a subdivision.
No, I realize, but it's probably,
So,
According to the state code, whenever a property is conveyed to a locality, the locality has to accept it. So I need somebody to
if
be
you need a
authorized.
resolution, can you
Yeah.
just do?
You can do a motion.
Do a motion.
motion.
Is there a motion to approve the town manager sign off on this? Second. Mr. Allen.
Aye.
Mr. Allen.
All right.
Mr. Sirleaf.
Aye.
Mr. Ferguson. Ms. Sherry.
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
And I would ask, Mr. Vaughn may speak, but I would ask him to get with Mr. Peters and get this amended, so that we can get this thing done under review.
I prefer to get it done sooner than that, first, because I'm gonna be on vacation all next week.
Oh, well, the problem is I've got to have the right names, and I got to have the right deed on the page.
I can,
This is obviously wrong.
I can get with them this evening.
Right. If I can get a new one, because I have to attach these.
Yes, sir. Now, it's my understanding in the discussions that we had on site on this thing, is, I mean, is a 10-foot easement, 5 foot from the middle of the ditch, each direction.
You can see that.
Correct.
According to what Mr. Hewitt has drawn on here,
Correct.
it's 5 feet on you and 5 feet on there.
Correct.
And an additional 5 feet temporary construction. So it's just-
There's plenty of room there. It's again, I came out here with the intentions of trying to put out what I was gonna call a third world war between my neighbor and Mr. Roberson, and say, look, I've been trying to handle this thing professionally up until emails went flying around yesterday. So, that being said, in your email, I don't know when you wrote by the property, but I made a point, and I told everyone, I said, well, I'm gonna make a point to have the fence and the shed done prior to June 1, and I did. And then you questioned, well, when's the fence coming down? So I can understand why he was a little upset. Granted, his email blew things clean out of proportion, and yours didn't help the matter either.
Mr. Cook's gonna be with me next
Yeah,
week, and we're on good terms.
I seen the email too. But, yeah, I mean, so my concern is this, in my defense and his, if you see his backyard right now, he's got a dog pen about as big as that circle is right there for his dog, and he's got a big lab. How soon are we gonna get this thing started?
Well, council's action tonight has allowed the deed to be circulated to you and to him upon execution, then the town will be able to go forward.
So, we talking third week of June, first week of July? I mean, I don't know if y'all seen the news, but the hurricane season is fast upon us, and it's gonna be a big one.
Mr. Murphy indicated that it'll go on the project list and put on priority, as priority, with the understanding that it is something there's day-to-day and during tasks that public work has some covering, but it will go into the priority list as the public work schedule.
All right, that's,
I assume that what we're
Good idea.
doing is pulling the guys that are working on the ditches off as soon as we have all the paperwork and sending them up there. Let's just tell the man that. So, yeah, we've got a crew that's working on stormwater drainage on a daily basis, basically. I think they're on 10th Street right now, or 8th Street. They'll stop there and jump over to,
Scheduled to go to another one, unfortunately, that we'll have to defer them.
and we move them every day.
So what do you?
So once they're finished, they're in 9th Street area, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. Okay. They were scheduled to go to Up on the Point at the end of that music, and we had estimated an 8-week run. However, that would be the ideal time to go.
I mean, what are we talking, I mean,
So
for
we're talking
this
about
little bit of
about 3
run, we're
weeks.
talking with good
We're
weather,
talking about a couple, 3 weeks.
I'm thinking a couple weeks in and out.
Oh, you're talking about time frame in yours? Yeah.
In and out. All right, so Mr. Cornwell, what exactly do you need me to get from the village?
I need this plat revised with the appropriate names and the deed limitation.
All right, because I want to say they closed on this thing. I want to say not long after the first of the year.
Well, Mr. Hewitt could find that.
Yeah.
He must not have been aware of that, or he would have put it on there. So
Well, the
we-
county's behind on theirs all the
Right.
time. You got to go in, is that
Yeah,
your?
I literally got this morning, okay?
All right.
So I thought it was correct, but now I find out that it's not. I can't record this with
No,
you.
I totally understand that,
So,
yeah.
if I can get a corrected one, tomorrow, I can probably get a deed done on Friday and circulate it back to the town on Monday for somebody to sign.
All right, like I said, as soon as I'll leave out of here and I'll go to the house and I'll see what I can come up with.
But I have to have plat before the deed. That's just the basic.
And all they're changing is the name and the deed book and page.
Right.
The current sale, right on that exact same piece of
Right.
paper reprint.
Right.
Exactly.
So it can happen very
And
quickly.
I've checked with the subdivision agent, she doesn't need your approval further because it's not subdivision.
That's right.
All we need to do is get it done.
All right, I will get it done. Thank you.
Okay, Jarvis. Mr. Jarvis?
Jay Jarvis, 225 Boundary Street. This is appropriate for this meeting. It just happens to be coincidence. My third annual spring review of Losing Avenue. We'll refer to it affectionately as losing. We're still losing a lot of sewage and water. That's on Losing Avenue. We'll start at 109. It was fixed in the past, it's starting to seep again. 418, fixed in the past, seeping again. 519, fixed in the past, seeping again. 616, a new leak and it's a good one. The intersection of Nelson and Losing, you got sewage seeping up along where the tar comes along. And I don't know where the leak is. It's not traditionally, 3 feet in, it's right on the side. Nelson and Losing. 717 is an old leak. 727, and this was neat. I was on my bicycle when I find a leak, I pull off the road, get down my little piece of paper, and take notes. A guy come by and in a golf cart, waved at me and said hi, hit the puddle, splashed it. I'm off the road. Went from the center of the road, splashed it on my ankles, the sewage. I wasn't happy, but he had a kid in the car, so I couldn't really express myself adequately. 729, 980, and 910, new minor leaks. They're not reported before, they're new ones, but it's minor seepage, but you know it's coming. 727, you got 2 water leaks there.
On 7?
727 on Losing, and it's a good water leak because it's flowing down the ditch. You got a 12-inch ditch there, and the water's flowing. So In the past, I went ahead and gave you sources of funding that you had. I haven't done that this time. But with the sewer leaks, I'm sure with the infrastructure, there is money out there on a safety issue, in environmental.
Jay, we would like to investigate all of these, and I'd appreciate it if you would give me the list.
Got it right
If
here.
it's- If it is indeed a sewer leak,
Yep.
in the future, and if you have identified it as such, would you please report such to Public Works immediately? Please.
Now, yeah, I agree with Rob. I mean, I understand coming here and presenting in a public input, citizen input. I think it's good that you do that, but I think it's more important that you do it as soon as you find it and not wait so that it exasperates itself.
I've done that in the past. I just feel it's important, especially at this time. I held off this time. I took it, the survey Monday. I held off because I'm not happy, I won't be here for the public hearing. I, like most of the citizens in the town, are not happy with the rate increases that are being proposed. And when, what we're paying for is just flowing down the street. And we're paying for that.
Well, first of all, what you're talking about could be as simple as one sewer leak that's seeping down and coming up in multiple areas versus the pipe being broken in all those different places. So it could be as easy as finding a quick fix to it, but we still have old pipes in the ground. We didn't fix everything. The money we got
That's
out
infrastructure
spending
that
right
needs to
now
be worked
is
on.
not fixing everything.
This brings up the second part of the thing here, to reinforce what Rob was saying, and your CIP. There is money out there for infrastructure improvements with grants if it's listed in the CIP. When I saw that thing flipping up there, I saw no water, I saw no sewer, I saw no infrastructure on our CIP.
Stormwater.
And this, I don't, Mayor Rummage and Val Folds, when that came out in 2009, I told them they needed to resign, that Rob Whitman had told me that the money was there. All you had to have is if you had it listed in your capital improvement plan and showed either how it was hit a distressed area or a safety issue, the money is there. And we didn't even, we're now, how many years? 10? Since then, when I asked them to resign because they didn't list the obvious things. And we're still not listed. Now, this is an annual, now, I do my annual CIP speech, and I'll be back in the fall for that, when the CIP comes up. I do that just every year. The council is required to approve the CIP annually. That's state law. The town manager or the mayor should monthly give their assessment, just like you asked these other organizations, how are they doing to improve, fix that CIP? So the citizens of the town have some visibility. We'll talk about that in the fall.
Dave, you need things added to the CIP. I really encourage you to make sure you talk during public hearing or beforehand to the planning commission during this next review process to make sure it is explicitly on there the way that we think it needs to be to qualify for funding. There are 2 items that are related to this on there, but maybe it's not specifically the way that you're talking about.
That's right.
Well, I would hope that we know how to put together the items on the CIP. I mean, we're supposed to get the inventory of items from the department heads. Department heads are supposed to know what our capital improvements need to be urgently now, this year, next year, 3 years, 5 years, what have you. And then we're supposed to know how to put it in there so that it meets the requirements. I don't think that we need to ask the town people to go around and police our leaks. We've got enough trucks riding up and down the road all day long. And that should never be a surprise to us whether it's a water or sewer leak, but I understand your frustration. But as far as the CIP, I think it's ours, the council and the planning commission and the department has responsibility to get it right.
and then have it briefed, just so that you know it's being
$1
updated.
billion project.
Thank you.
That doesn't have any bearing on our day-to-day.
But it is, and it will continuously be developed. It has to. It's unfortunate, and it's gonna be in private.
Well, I share the frustration, I didn't want to get into it here, I share the frustration of Jay when we go in and repair something 3 or 4 times, pave it, cut the pavement again, repair it again, and still leak. We've got some issues.
I feel like you're criticizing your own staff. And really, they do every effort to go in and replace as much as they can at one time, this road. So I would have, I'm sorry, but I have to disagree with you. We have been replacing significantly.
Okay. Well, I'll say it again, we've unfortunately, we sat on our hands for a very, very long time, way before this council, way before a lot of us were even born. And now we're paying the piper for it, and it's gonna continue that way until we get at least close to a larger portion of it done. But it's not as normal to see leaks and such, but, and even with new piping, you can have a leak, but
Well, I guess what I find somewhat frustrating, and I know you don't want to talk about it in the meeting, but it's been brought up. I mean, when we do a new connection to an old pipe, we seem to get it right, and it don't leak. When we go to fix something, at least half the time it leaks again. I'm not sure the difference when we're working on the same pipe.
yeah, I think, eventually we'll have to replace all of it anyway.
That's not the
Now, we have noticed,
because it's not always
For the good of you,
bad.
we have noticed a significant drop in the waste since we did this latest one on, the latest one on Livingston. So that was a big leak area. We still have some significant issues in certain areas, especially on Walsey. But we have chipped away, and the number of tickets, which I was surprised at the wreck of this have reduced.
So like I said, that
So we, we're put a little bit.
it's,
And I personally, I appreciate town council pushing to move these capital improvements. This one was a significant, financial impact, but
huge.
it,
We're all getting made pay for it
I
right now.
actually,
There's more to come, I would imagine, they're gonna get it all right, so. Okay. That's it. Is anybody else out there got anything they want to say before we, go into, are we going into a closed meeting, Mr. Manager? Yes. All right. With that, is there a motion to go into closed meeting?
Well, I would ask the council to move those meetings to 2.23711A7, which would be consultation of legal counsel and briefing by staff members and consultants concerning the actual probable litigation. This will include matters relating to water and sewer matters, particularly.
Council, I'd like to recommend that we allow the other staff that's not needed for this to be able to dismiss them. That would be planning and chief and public works.
But you can't be.
You need a vote.
Is there a motion?
Second.
Mr. Aye. Mr. Silver. Yeah. Ms. Willis.
Aye.
Aye.
You said you were sitting right behind. All these months of work. Yeah, it's last day of March, but you got it to me
Yeah, I did. Well, I saw that it took, a little bit of what I did.